I was just thinking to myself, when you're somebody in this position and you've been going through it for years and you felt the loneliness, the isolation, you felt the pain that made you go insane, you start to daydream and you start to just have these thoughts. And one of the thoughts I was having is, if I had any type of power or ability, what would it be? And would I just have more than one? And I thought about, I probably have multiple powers and abilities, but if I can just pick one, like off the top of my head, it'll probably be time travel. I want the ability to go back in time and, like, let's say I go to the Roman Colosseum and I can just go back in time to how it was when it was brand new and walk the streets of Rome and look around and then time travel back to my own reality when I want, right? And recently in my family, or my family's gone now, but my entire family that I know, like on a first name, like people that I grew up with, they just passed away within the last couple of years. So basically, I have no family, you know, and other people that are alive, these people live in different states, some different countries, and we don't talk, we don't get along, we don't know each other like that, right? But my immediate family, people that I've known my whole life, people that I lived with, they're gone now, and I'll never see them again. And I just want to time travel to just even a few years ago when my grandmother was alive, and just to see her cooking food downstairs, she playing her church music and coming home and playing her piano and singing to the Lord and praising Jesus and all that. I miss that. I miss her banging on my door and saying, ah, blah, shibba, blah, blah, shibba, blah, 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 I can do this, blah, blah, shibba, blah, 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 and hallelujah. She was saying that stuff and speaking in tongues, I think it's called. And then she'll like take the blessed olive oil, then pour it over my head and start speaking in tongues and rebuking devils and demons off of me. Like, I remember that. I remember us, like, for Christmas dinners or Thanksgiving or Easter, us getting around and everybody holding hands, and my grandma does a prayer, and she'll go hard when she was praying. And I looked at that and I was like, she did all that, and my family still fell apart. She lost her son. She lost her life. She lost both her daughter's lives, her niece. And my grandmother, ultimately, she's gone. To this day, it hurts me. Like, I feel like a different person. Like, there's times, like the other night, excuse me, the other night, like, I remember, like, just looking at YouTube. And I remember looking at, like, and my profile came up. And I was kind of half awake, And I was like, whose profile is this, And then I clicked it, and then it was my voice, and I'm like, what the heck? And then, like, it just totally clicked, and I was like, oh my God, like, I actually have a YouTube channel. Like, I know how crazy this sounds, right? But sometimes when your mind gets broken and disassociated and dislocated from your normal thoughts, you have these weird type of thoughts. And I forgot that I even had a YouTube channel. It scared me for a second. I was like, damn, when did I make all these videos? What the heck? Like, like, this is how sad I'm feeling, where I'm starting to just disassociate from reality. I'm starting to forget shit, because I miss my grandmother, man. I miss my family. My family's gone. Imagine the seeing people you've seen every single day, and they just, all of a sudden, they're just gone. And now you're thrown into the wild. You're thrown into a vicious, sick, twisted environment where you got to fight to survive. You got to fight to eat. You got to fight to stay clean. You got to fight for everything. And even then, there's been a couple of times where I only have like a few dollars on me, right? And like, I'll be waiting in line somewhere, and then like somebody, like a little kid or something, like they don't have enough change, and like there's grown people all around me acting like they don't have a couple of dollars on them, and I'm the one that's homeless. I'm the one that doesn't have nothing, and yet I take my last little dollars and I go up in there and I pay, like, hey, how much is it? I'm like, here, and give the kid $5 or $10 or whatever. And people looking at me frowning. It's like, why are you guys frowning at me when I know all you guys in this line had a couple of dollars to give this kid? Yet you guys, and that would have just speeded up the process. It wasn't like it was 20, 30, 40, or $100, only a couple of dollars. You see how I have that willingness to give? People will take advantage of that. That's why I got to keep my guard up. There's certain people who be like, oh man, he's a sucker, or I can get something out of him, you know? But it's not like that at all. You see, I'm a divine spark. I help those who are righteous out, and I just help those in need because it pleases me. It pleases me to see somebody that doesn't have any money, that doesn't have anything, and I have money, I have a little something extra to give, and then give it to them so they can be happy. You know, why would I not do that? Why would I not share happiness? Why would I, spread evilness, like some type of disease or some infection? That's wicked. And that's the problem with a lot of people in this world is they rather spread wickedness and sin and all types of evil than to spread love, peace, and tranquility. That's why you got to be very careful in this world who you give your energy to. But a lot of us, unfortunately, we're surrounded by energy vampires and people that are just willing to suck away your focus, your time, your goals, your aspirations, your ambitions. They'll have you thinking that what you thought was possible is now impossible. Meanwhile, they're just talking behind your back either way. Either when you make it, they'll talk about you. Even if you don't make it, they'll talk about you. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you might as well just go hard. You know? But God, I'm such a different person than I was a few years ago. Like I couldn't imagine me a few years ago being so open, talking about, my experiences and people relating to me. Like I always thought it was cool, to have a place where people could meet and talk. But I didn't know this many people would actually listen to me, So I thank everybody who, show me love and everything like that. I appreciate it, man, because this is a hard battle I face, a hard battle that we all face. And one thing I see is I'm noticing a lot of these people coming into the black pill community that are just normies, or they're LARPers, or they're like people that just look normal. Like they look like Chads, like what's his name? Like I don't want to say no names because I don't want to start no beef with nobody, you know what I mean? But it's like certain people you look at and it's like, bro, there's no way in hell that you're a sub-5. You have blue eyes, you have gold hair, you got girls commenting in your comment section. Then I notice certain people that once they get bigger, they spread a positive message. See, the reason why my channel probably will never be big is because I'm too real. I don't give that message of like, somebody like I don't want to say no names, but somebody like Paulie Walnuts, like he'll give like a positive message in his videos, and kind of show a little disdain towards people in our position a little bit, right? And you find out that certain people, they're wealthy in real life. They don't need a YouTube paycheck or whatever, they don't need that. So they can just go ahead and just rely on their career money, and then YouTube is whatever YouTube, and then they can say what they really feel like or what people want to hear on YouTube, because people don't want to hear this dark and gloom stuff. That's why these videos are not popular. A lot of people come on here and they try to entertain, they try to do this, that, and this. I don't do none of that shit. I just come on here and tell the truth. Like a lot of people, because I understand people want to be entertained. People can't just sit down for more than 5 freaking seconds and actually take some wisdom and knowledge, and they want to be entertained, and they want this, they want that, they want the dopamine hit. I'm like, bro, if you watch my videos, man, take a bowl hit, take something to drink, and just sit back and relax, right? Because I'm just getting stuff off my chest, man, and either you agree or disagree, and right now, just, I feel like a zombie at times, man. Like, it's like life is on autopilot, and if you notice things that annoy you or things that you don't want to happen seem to be the things that have the likelihood of actually happening and actually ruining your day or making you think some way, or make it just the way this world works. It seems like it's designed to break you down. And not only that, but to change who you are. Do you remember the person who you was 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago? Do you remember that person? Do you remember how full of hope you once were? How when you were kind of happy about life, when you thought maybe life has a chance, maybe I can become something great. Maybe this will happen. Maybe that will happen. Maybe this will happen. Maybe this girl will like me. Maybe I'll go to prom. Maybe I ask her to that spring dance, or that, whatever, that winter dance, whatever we have coming up, And you never did those things. This is why one of the powers I wish is time travel. I want to go back in time and live out the dreams that I never had, you know? And also, I probably want like some type of ice ability. I want to be able to freeze people with ice beams or aurora beams, and and cause thunderstorms as well. Like some Poseidon god of war type shit. But I don't know, man. When you look at this world and just take a quick examination and analyzation on it, you really see a world that's just doomed. It's doomed to oblivion. There's no hope for the future. There's no hope for the past. There's no hope for your ass. There's no hope for anywhere. You know, there's only hope just to cope another day. And how long? How long must we keep coping? How long must we keep just this bull crap going on? I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of just being in this position. I'm sick of not having the things that I truly want in life. I'm sick of being looked down upon. I'm sick of always being at a disadvantage emotionally, psychologically. I'm tired of being belittled. I'm tired of being talked to disrespectfully. I'm tired of people looking at me and frowning at me. I'm tired of people just ignoring me. I be walking somewhere and people act like they don't even see me. Or some places I go, they act like I'm the only thing they see. That's why I know it's the demiurge playing games with my mind, playing these little mind tricks or playing these little tricks around me. It's crazy, man. Being trapped in this dimension has to be one of the most horrible, horrendous things any type of godlike being can go into. Having your power stripped from you. Having these wicked beings saying that you're weak and pathetic, but they need you to survive, but they're calling you weak, but they're feeding off of you. Just parasites. Spiritual parasites these archons are. These archons, they're agents, they're minions, they're agents of chaos and destruction and corruption. And we're surrounded by these beings. We're surrounded by evil everywhere we go. You can't even turn on the TV without them talking about some damn war. Or talking about, oh, well, the inflation is so high, blah, 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 because Trump did this and is this. Like, man, Trump is a puppet. Every United States president is a puppet. It doesn't matter who you vote for, the right or the left. They're all controlled by the people and the corporate interests. They're controlled by the money, the billionaires, the trillionaires, the people you don't see, the people whose name don't get written down in history books like that, the people that decide world wars. Read Albert Pike in the Three World Wars. It's called Albert Pike in the Three World Wars. Albert Pike was a high-ranking Freemason, a 33rd degree Freemason, even though 33rd degrees is not the highest, but that's one of the highest degrees is 33rd. There's also secret hidden degrees as well that go beyond the 33rd, but that's not a topic in this discussion. They say if you teach a man to fish, he'll be able to catch fish forever. And if that statement is true, then how come they don't teach us financial literacy so we can gain our own money and independent financial stabilization away from the system? It's like, I think we know the answer to that, but it's like the system doesn't want us to be self-sufficient on our own without it. Because for some reason, this evil world, it has a problem with you having peace and thinking clearly and concisely. It's like you being happy and having peace and actually having time to think clearly and think concisely is like a threat to this system. Like the system doesn't want that. It wants you stressed out. It wants you, always, worrying about problems and conflictions. It wants you always to be kind of destroyed. It doesn't want you to have, confidence. Have you noticed all your problems in life is designed to take away your confidence, your confidence, your confidence? So how the hell can you achieve anything if you don't have any confidence in yourself? A grown man that can't even get a woman, can't even get a girl to smile at him. You think he's ready to get his own apartment and get a car and fucking pay bills? And he can't even get a girl to even bend over for him? That destroys a man's confidence. That destroys a man's ability to even think and believe in himself, man. It's a messed up, emotional, fucking toxic soup. And nobody knows his pain except everybody else in this position, right? And this world, man, whenever you have a moment's peace, a moment of justification, a moment of soul revitalization and rejuvenation, whenever you have that, be prepared for some type of loose energy for farming or harvesting event to come. Either something's going to scare you, make you anxious, terrify you, make you worried about the future. You got a job interview coming up and you really need the job and you can't fail. You got this coming up. You got that coming up. You know, you got all these things coming up and you're worried. You got a test for school coming up and that's bothering you. Your dad is on your ass because, you know, you're 27 years old and you don't have a job. And your dad is on your ass threatening to kick you out, you know, and he doesn't even know that you were just thinking about, you know, dark thoughts the other night. And he's pushing it and pressing it. And it's just, you're going through it, you know. You want a woman, but you can't have a woman. So that makes you sad. So you don't even want to get a job. You don't even want to go to school. You don't even want to do nothing but just sit down, smoke weed, watch anime, and play video games all day because you feel comfortable doing that. Because you feel like you have some type of power and peace in that. Meanwhile, everything outside that room is doom. Everything outside that room is a shadow monsoon meant to consume. It's meant to destroy your mind. It's meant to obliterate your confidence. It's meant to destroy you in multiple angles. Nothing outside that room is good. Nothing. Outside the room is doom. Outside the room is horror and torment. Outside the room is all the problems that you try to avoid coming at you. Like little mini demon piranhas biting at you in every angle at your flesh. Right? What a miserable existence that we live in. What the hell is this? Just take a look around you and what do you see? Are you playing a video game right now in a virtual reality world? Are you winning? Are you losing in it? Are you playing online, single player? But just notice your mind is in that realm. Your mind is not in the realm where we're at right now because our mind does anything to escape pain, even play video games and go to other worlds and realities. It's why I love watching anime. Because anime takes me to these other dimensions. These other realms and dimensions where I feel more free, where I don't feel so restrictive, where I don't feel all these evil conflicting emotions. Like something inside me is telling me that I should be powerful, I should be able to do what I want, and I shouldn't feel shamed for wanting to be a rap superstar. Like I shouldn't feel shamed for that, you know, because in another reality, that would have been my reality in actuality. And it would have been some impossible dream. Why in this dimension you can have the skills, the talents, the attributes, and everything, and you'll still fail, all because some evil demiurge doesn't want you to make it because he wants to continue, because you're more valuable to the demiurge as a loose cow, as a negative energetic manifestation of frequency harvesting thing. He doesn't see, the demiurge doesn't see us as persons. He sees us as batteries. He doesn't see us as individuals. This being sees us as just something to power up his evil demonic realms. What a hideous existence, you know. Absolutely revolting. It's absolutely disgusting that you have to be in this position, this wicked and evil position of not being happy, never being happy, and never even seeing the light of happiness, always seeing the light of oblivion, if oblivion even has any light, you know, just always seeing the world as an evil place because it is. And then you get backstabbed, you get betrayed, you get attacked, and everything just proves your points about the world, how wicked it is, how evil it is, how conniving it is, how deceitful it is. It just proves your point. And the more this goes on, the more this life is going to get worse. Can you imagine the world 100 years from now, how different it's going to be from how it is now? In the future, it's probably going to be normal for people to have brain chips and all types of body modifications and augmentations. It's probably going to be normal. But is that really normal for us right now? No. But in the future, that's going to be normal for those people. How are they going to know? And I know you guys just heard that PlayStation just had their PlayStation Network crash, and they want to have everything all digital, but they can't even have their servers up before, you know. So imagine if everything was all digital and then the PlayStation Network crashed, and the games you paid for, you can't even have access to the games you paid for because the network crashed. This is the crap we're talking about. This new world order, Illuminati, you'll own nothing and be happy credo. It's bull crap. And many people just fell into this willy nilly. They fell into this willingly. A lot of Americans were comfortable. You see, a lot of Americans are not uncomfortable enough. As long as they can go to McDonald's and get the McSlop, the McChicken nuggets, your McClucking burger, you know, some ranch and some barbecue sauce, maybe a what's that milkshake? The Shamrock Shake, which is fire. If you can, if the damn McDonald's has the ice cream machine working, but the Shamrock Shake, which is fire, if you can get it, and you know, and be happy. That's Americans. Americans love being fat and happy. Most Americans are just happy with the system. They're just not happy that the most Americans are happy with the system. They're just mad that they're not getting a bigger piece. Meaning that they're not getting all the money and the success. But but they wouldn't dare jeopardize the system to destroy it all to the ground and have nothing. You got to be a rare spirit and a rare soul to say, I don't want $1 million. I don't want $1 billion. I want this whole system to be destroyed and reestablished under the system of righteousness, under the system of fair, not a system of deceit. A system of wickedness and evil and corruption and seduction ran and fulfilled by demons and instruments and monsters and creatures of the dark unknowns. You want a righteous world, not a world that thrives on intimidation, fear, and terror by evil, sadistic, twisted, wicked God, who's a demiurge, a sick, twisted craftsman who craft the material universe to his own devices, a wicked being with immense power. So we got to be careful, man, because the world we live in is just a very evil place, a very wicked place, a place that's not normal for the human soul and spirit. Tell me, how are we supposed to develop in a world where you're always engulfed in pain? You're always engulfed in flames. Every day is the same and nothing really changed. And this life is strange and it get deranged in your brain. There's no way in hell you're supposed to live like this. In total isolation, misery, your destiny's already defined for you. You got people plotting on you. You got assassins and weirdos and all types of things. You're just trying to mind your business. You're still sad. You lost your family, and that still hurts. You've been going through it for a long time. Trying to figure out a way to make some money, and just thinking one day you're going to get out this situation and you're going to be successful. Then everybody that helped you, everybody that gave you $1, you're going to repay them back and show them that the money that they gave to help you, it actually did something, it meant something, and it becomes successful. And prove anybody who doubted you wrong, anybody who said that you couldn't do something, you wouldn't do something, or you don't do nothing, you prove them wrong and you become successful. Right? You become successful. Because people judge people on their actions, and in this world, meeting some people that are real and they have real actions and interactions and not on some fake ish is extremely rare. Most people you're going to meet are going to be on some fake ish. They're not going to be real. They're going to have secret agendas and secret plots against you. You can't trust them. You help them out and then they get rich or they get successful and they act like you didn't help them. Just fake. I can't stand people like that. I like people that are real. If you help me out when I get successful, I'm gonna help you out. It's as simple as that, because you helped me out when you didn't have to. You didn't have to give me any money. You didn't have to help me out with anything, and you did anyway out of the kindness of your heart. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go hard and make sure to be successful. Because for guys like us, all we have is our grind. We don't have anything else. All we have is our grind and our mind and how we utilize and integrate that time. But it sucks we have to fight 1,000 times harder just to get other people's normal, For you to get a girlfriend, man, or get a girl to even be interested in you, look at it, look how many obstacles you have to cross. Like, you got to cross the 7 damn seas. And then you got to get past women's attitudes, and everybody knows how Western women are. So demanding, so picky, ugly attitudes, very judgmental, very strong-willed and opinionated in a negative way. It's just I don't know, man. I think the Western world, well, let's just say this. Money controls the world. Money controls everything. And if you have the shekels, wink, wink, shekels, if you have the shekels, you can do things from the shadows. You can control wars. You can have people sending uh, your allies hundreds of billions of dollars and etc., etc., etc. You can train American police forces, and I'll stop right there. But you get the picture. Evil works in the best. Evil does its best in the shadows, not in the light when it can get exposed. It does it in the dark, where it's secretive, where it can hide, where it can have plausible deniability, where it can lie and attack you, and then say, "I didn't do it. I didn't attack you," knowing damn well they did. That's a coward. Somebody that does something but doesn't stand on it, but they were able to do it. They had enough confidence to do it, but they don't have enough balls to stand on it. That's a coward. That's not somebody that should be respected ever.